But a lot of Photoshop is also more subtle, not just editing things into pictures, but making pictures themselves look better and make it look like you took them with a lot of photography skill when you were in fact, just an amateur, don't know a lot.
Just a fun fact, I know a lot of restaurants use this, like to make their enhance their food, and then when you get it.
Yeah, McDonald's burgers don't look like they show in the ads. It's all Photoshop.
Yeah, sometimes it takes 2 pictures.
So let's see. Let's search photography again. That has good results. Let's find an image. Oh, what's a good image that's artsy?
The caterpillar.
But this one already has a blur in it, and I was going to add a blur. Let's do the ladybugs. Any problems with ladybugs? Anyone hate ladybugs?
I really don't care.
Do the ladybugs.
Okay.
I really don't care.
Ooh. We can also just drag this into Photoshop if we want to.
Wow.
Ta-da! And once we have it here, there are many things we can do. I guess I should have shown how to flatten images in the last one. I guess I'll do that real quick. So say we have... Okay. So, let's just make another ladybug real quick. Can I do that on another layer? What I just did there, as this is, it's the background layer. It's not really as editable as is, because it has this little locked thing. If I tried to do stuff, I guess the clone tool still works. But, double-clicking this locked icon makes it a new layer.
Can you start from the top? Can you start again, because I'm kind of lost.
Okay.
Yeah, which one did you click first? You want to make another ladybug.
If I want, before I do that, I want to unlock the background layer. When I drag it in as opposed to copy-pasting it in, it automatically sets it as the background, because it thinks you want to draw things on top of it, as opposed to edit the image itself. How am I doing on time? Okay.
So you click on the lock there.
Double click it, and then it'll automatically ask you, how opaque do you want? Do you want to put a color over it? Do you want a normal mode? A darkened mode? Does that do much? Nah, not really. But say we didn't want to make another layer, but on new layer. So we go to current layer. Oh no. Okay. Let's just do it this way. I want to explain the concept of flattening images real quick, because it is kind of important. There's a lot of stuff like the clone tool that's only useful on a single layer. Though they've updated it now and it's a little smarter, it can capture stuff on multiple layers, but it still can get difficult. But what you can do, say we have this in 2 different layers. Alright, we have it in 2 different layers. Totally indistinguishable from the first one. Yeah.
This is a serious question. If you wanted to make the ladybugs go in the other direction, could you do that?
Very easily. But you couldn't do it as it is now. Because there are 2 different layers. If I go to image, edit, transform. Let's see. Scale, and we go to width and we set it to -100, which will flip it the other way. Oh no! We've cut one of our ladybugs in half, everything's gone wrong. That's because we got 2 different images on there. And they just happen to be overlaid. But what we can do if we want to do that is recombine these images, pretending they were separate in the first place. Just highlight them both, right click. The mouse doesn't right click, right? And you have 3 different options here. Effectively, for this case, the same thing. But merge layers will merge all your selected layers. Merge visible merges all the visible layers, because you can also turn layers off and press the little eye icon right there to make them visible or invisible. Or you can just flatten the image. And in that case, this is what I'm going to do. It would flatten the entire thing. The invisible layers would be lost completely. And now we have a single image. And I made the background again. Apple T to open transform mode. Width -100. They're flipped around. They're going the other direction. You can also edit your dimensions up here too. Say I want a really, really narrow picture. I can. I don't know why I'd want that, but it's possible. You can also rotate it up here. Once again, not really that useful in this case. But there are definitely applications where you'd want that. But let's see. So, there's a lot of control you can have into your image and the various things you can do with it. On most, so the least control you have and the computer doing most of the work for you is an auto tone, auto contrast, and auto color. And that will figure things out for itself. Instantly more artsy, pretty much. Auto contrast, didn't do much in this case. Auto tone, but auto color definitely does. Suddenly the ladybugs stand out a bunch, backgrounds into like grayish. But you can also do a lot of the stuff yourself using adjustments. And there's brightness, contrast, levels, and my favorite is curves. Because curves is awesome. Pretty much. Yeah, no, it is. The other ones let you adjust the various levels linearly, but this one, well, I can't say quadratically, but quadratically, cubically, hypercubically, all the ways you want. You can really make as many curves as you want, which is why it's called curves. Because it lets you have all these different points. It really gets crazy after a little bit. Whoa, right? I know. Trippy ladybugs. What's happening is in the background here. Let me delete some of these points. In the background, this gray area is the color balance in your image. Stop wiggling to add to the trippiness. Oh, that just made it worse. Anyway, and up here you can adjust to what extent it registers it. This will make the entire picture more white. This will make the entire picture more black. And then individually, you can make it so there are sections that are more white and more black. So you see you want the stuff right here to be lighter without increasing the lightness of the other parts and in fact making it darker. In addition, you can have control over the individual colors in your image. And that's where it really gets crazy. It's because here's all the green in the image right here. Say we want to increase the green. Oh, no, the other way. Like this. Suddenly everything has a bit more green to it. And if we did this, it's the same thing as lowering the contrast, pretty much. If this were just a flat line, the entire image would be pretty much one color, with a little bit of red sticking out. Or maximum contrast, which is kind of the diagonal line, but maximum being the contrast you originally have. You have this. You can even invert the colors if you want to using those here. Deleting this point again, deleting this point. This curve's great. You can pretty much do everything you can do in the other ones. There. Opposite colors. Now let's see. And then if you wanted even more control of an individual scale in the adjustments of your picture, you can use the dodge and burn tools. Nope, this one. So the dodge, as you can kind of imagine, makes things a little lighter. You can get rid of the shadow if you want to. Do it to your entire picture. And conversely, the burn tool you could use to make more of a shadowy area around it. And this way you can really mess with, the things that people attribute to photography, and often are in photography, but you can also just mimic if you want to. No offense to Peter, the photography guy. And suddenly we have a very dark ladybug over here, and a really light ladybug over here. And so you can imagine where this is valuable. It's in places where you don't necessarily want the entire image adjusted in a single way. Alternatively, you could separate it out into layers and adjust them individually. But it's all a matter of how much control you want over each individual part of the picture. So, the happy medium really is adjustments. Curves are the best. Because you don't have to do too much work by lightening and darkening each individual aspect of the picture individually, but you don't have to sacrifice the control. Let's see. Filters. Filters are also really cool. Yes?
Okay, so what kind of advantage, what's the difference in functionality between the curves and the hue and saturation?
Well, I think it's a matter of linearity, right? Because the hue and saturation, yeah. These you control them a scale, you pretty much get more or less. And everything is shifted that way. With the curves, it pretty much sets little levels where if something's above this level, it counts as this color, and something below this level counts as a different color. With this, it's shifting the entire, not picture on an XY coordinates, but on a color coordinates. Every color in the picture is being shifted this way, or this way, or this way, or this way, and this way, or red, green, and blue. While with curves, you can say, all right, I want the reds in the picture to go in this direction, the greens in the picture to go in this direction, but only if they're more green than purple in this certain amount. Are there any other questions about the Insta-Better photography stuff before I move on to filter? Yeah?
So with the curves, can you tell exactly which colors are which on there, or do you just sort of have to guess?
No, you do. So,
Oh, okay.
you can do red GB in total,
Yeah.
and that will kind of just alter sort of the brightness. With this, it's more brightness and contrast. While you can go to the specific colors, and that's where the really cool stuff happens, because it shows you actually the amount of red in your picture, the amount of green in your picture, the amount of blue in your picture, and to prove it to you that this is in fact what it's doing, let me draw a big box for a second. Where is it? Oh, yeah. New layer. These buttons down here, should I mention real quick? They're create new layer, create a new folder for layers, create a new fill or adjustment layer. This one's add a layer mask, which we'll use when we talk about gradients, and they're really cool. And then delete a layer. But we've made a new layer on top of our old one. We need to fill it in with a color. Let's pick red. It's a nice color. So now, we've placed it, we press enter. Let's flatten our image real quick. Flatten image. Goodbye, ladybugs. Image, adjustments, curves. Sure enough, RGB doesn't show anything. Green shows nothing. Blue shows nothing. Red doesn't show it. That's annoying. Well, maybe it needs another object in there to point out that it's not entirely red, actually. So, I'll show you how to do this later, but I'm at a little bit of a gradient. Step forward. Vector. So there. Now this picture should have a lot more red in it than the other colors. Now when I go to red, there's a lot of it. And it's on the right side of the screen, which makes sense because there's a lot over there. So the vertical axis is how much the picture is, that color. And then the horizontal axis is the horizontal distribution. And I think there's a way to switch actually the axes. But, oh, I can't scroll down that far. That's sad. Okay. You're limited by the displays you're using. Alright, are there any other questions on this section before we go on to filters and the cool effects you can do with them? Nope? Cool.